What is going on, everybody? I am your Commish Bromy. I hope everyone is having themselves a fun week so far after week 3 of just insaneness in football, college and pro. Click that out of here. So normally do the shows on Wednesdays, but I'm actually working the evenings the next couple of nights, so I'm not gonna have a chance. So here we are doing it live for you here on a Tuesday, to kind of have some fun, right? So it's very early when I go and look over at the ranking games and stuff like that. So probably not going to be too much to really tell on what's going to happen there, but I'll do what I did last week, kind of touch each one real quick, and then kind of go from there. So let's first discuss, all right, I released earlier today our brand new top 10 list. So let me pull that back up here real quick. And you should be able to see everything on the rankings as well on the main page, how everyone finished 1 through 36. So here we go. Number 1, no change in it. First time we've had a school this week go stay at number 1 from back-to-back weeks, and that is in Jefferson Community College. Number 2 staying there as well is SCLSU Mud Dogs. Moving up 1 spot to number 3 was the University of Kentucky Bourbon Ballers. Moving up to number 4, 1 spot up, is Purdue Plague. Number 5, dropping 2 spots even after a win, just wasn't as impressive as the rest of them for the undefeated schools, and that would be Taytown Criminals University. Number 6, with no movement, finishing off all the undefeated schools that are in our top 10, is Presbyterian Blue Hose. New to the top 10, had the top score in week 3, moved up, the biggest move into the top 10, which I think was 9 slots. Can't remember really off the top of my head, but it would be yours truly, the Commish, University of Thugonomics. Pretty impressive win last week, I have to say. It's good to be 1-0 in the conference. Let me tell you that right now. Number 8, moving back into the top 10 after they dropped out last week, is the Ocean State College Destroyers. Number 9, Florida State Fighting Raccoons, moving back into the top 10 that they dropped out after it last week. And rounding it out to number 10, beating the previous number 9 school and getting themselves into the top 10 first time this season, is the Hokies over at Queensland Tech. So there is your top 10 schools there. Let me pull up some map real quick for my computer to catch yourself up to date real quick. Just a reminder to everybody, we are doing walk-ons right now. Please make sure that you have the ability to do the walk-on. You have an open spot on your roster. You're not at 40. If somebody who isn't being recruited, please, I work very hard to label all these players that you guys recruited. That way it makes it a little bit easier. Use the add drop button, do the blind bid. You can get the 3 players, but only one of them is going to be added to your roster. And it's going to be first come, first serve basis. Label them 1, 2, and 3. There should be no problems like there was the first time around. I think that should all be fixed, so we shouldn't have an issue like we did last time when we did preseason walk-on where people couldn't get their bids in correctly because it was throwing a weird number out there on them. But number 1 is this person that you want the most. And number 3 is the least out of those 3. So please make sure you guys are doing that right. And I'll probably start working on that after I do this, releasing the first batch of the players. Then I'll release another batch tomorrow morning before I go to work. I'll release another one when I get home from work tomorrow night. And just keep kind of it going. So keep doing it. Add that player that you might need. You never know what it's been like after 3 weeks with your roster. And also maybe there's some surprise free agents out there that nobody's recruiting and somebody that could help you out here for the rest of the season. Because this would be the best time to get anybody because you get them for a good portion of the year. Because the next walk-on is not for a few weeks now. Before most likely, I think it's actually not going to be until the end of October. So you're looking about a month away before we do any more recruiting and walk-ons when I get back from vacation in October. So get it while you can, while the good is to be getting. All right. So, game of the week. I announced it when I released the rankings, but just as a reminder to everybody, it is the only ranked matchup that we have. It is number 4, Purdue Plague, going on the road to face the undefeated number 6, Presbyterian Blue Hose. These schools have faced each other twice, franchise-wise, as obviously here with the way we operate, because I don't have it. And maybe I'll change that for next year, so that way we actually have a true kind of history if school has actually faced a real school before. But with that being said, they have a split record, 1-1, so there'll be a little rubber match here between these two franchise schools here. Very early in the contest, but Purdue's got Josh Allen, Saquon Barkley, Mike Evans returning from suspension, and the Bucs could really use that wide receiver. Probably was the difference maker of them not being able to really get ahead of the Packers last week. Christian Kirk having a nice little year so far in Jacksonville, and Jacksonville just having a nice year in general. And Amon-Ra St. Brown, then Mark Andrews there. For Presbyterian, they are showing Joe Burrow playing Thursday night. Can they be the ones that stop Miami? In your Commish's eyes, I hope not. Tua training it. What another great week for Miami. But fortunately, I have to work Thursday night, so I don't get to really watch it, which is going to be kind of annoying. But it is what it is. He also has Saquon Barkley, got Tyreek Hill, Justin Jefferson, Michael Pittman, and Kyle Pitts. Next matchup with a ranked school. You got the 1-2 Evil Empire going on the road to the Bourbon Bowl, facing number 2 undefeated SCLSU Mud Dogs. So far in the history of these schools and the franchises and everything, the Mud Dogs have a 2-0 all-time series record. Early on and so far in the contest, you got Evil Empire with Kyler Murray, Clyde Edwards-Helaire, Tony Pollard, who, why not start him over Ezekiel Elliott right now, because he seems to be the one who's getting all the work and all the points in fantasy-wise. A.J. Brown and Hollywood Marquise Brown there. And then Logan Thomas riding up the offensive side. For the Mud Dogs, you've got, I would say, the early favorite in the TCAA Heisman Trophy candidates here, and quarterback Lamar Jackson, just straight balling. Austin Eckler, Jonathan Taylor, who is still not really hitting his stride after the way he was last year, so maybe this would be the week that he pulls something out of his hat. Stephon Diggs cramped up a lot in the Miami game, but it was like 100,000 degrees there, so can't really blame him on that. And he's got Amon-Ra St. Brown and also Travis Kelce. In that one, currently Mud Dogs are favored by 28 points. In that first game, we were talking about the game of the week. Right now, Purdue is favored by 5 points, but it's all early speculation. Who knows what kind of walk-ons either one of these schools will add as well. Maybe they'll change something up. All right, next matchup, we have the 1-2 Missouri Manscapers going on the road to Campbell Soup Stadium at Florida State University, facing the 2-1 number 9 Florida State Fighting Raccoons. In this one here, overall, Missouri has a 2-1 all-time series record against Florida State. And we go. So far early, preliminary, as always, you got for Missouri, Russell Wilson hasn't really shown the Russell Wilson that we know, not too dangerous, as they say right now. He's got Saquon Barkley, Najee Harris, Amon-Ra St. Brown, Michael Thomas, and Mark Andrews. For Florida State, you got Josh Allen, Nick Chubb, Aaron Jones, Amari Cooper, Cortland Sutton, and Darren Waller there. This one here, Florida State is currently favored by 11 points in their matchup on the 125 to 114. All right, next matchup, you've got DBAP University 2-1 going on the road, facing the 3-0 undefeated number 5 Taytown Criminals University. This would be the 4th straight week in a row DBAP U is facing somebody who is in our ranked top 10 at that time. So keep it on with their hard strength of schedule there right now for DBAP U. Overall, DBAP does have a 2-0 record all-time versus the franchising school of Taytown Criminals. For DBAP, you got Matthew Stafford, Derrick Henry, finally showing some promise from last week, Jonathan Taylor, Devontae Adams, looking all right, but Vegas isn't looking all that well. Justin Jefferson and Kyle Pitts. For Taytown, right now you got Kirk Cousins, Antonio Gibson, Stephon Diggs, Tyreek Hill, Cooper Kupp, and Mark Andrews. And Taytown is favored by 8 points currently. All right, next matchup in the rankings. Let's see who we have. We've got number 1, Jefferson Community College, going on the road to Gunpowder Stadium to face the 2-1 Winchester University. This is the first matchup between these two schools, as Winchester's in the new conference of the Mountain Six from last year, so they haven't gotten to face really everybody yet. So this will be their very first matchup overall in franchise's history. So for the number 1 school, you've got Lamar Jackson, Antonio Gibson, Jamar Chase, Stephon Diggs, Scary Terry McLaurin, and Logan Thomas. For Winchester, Matthew Stafford, Najee Harris, A.J. Brown, Stephon Diggs, Tyler Lockett, and Travis Kelce. At this moment, Winchester is projected to upset the number 1 school, 118 to 114. So they got a 4-point projected and projections as winning. So should be interesting to see how this one may play out. Next matchup, you've got the 1-2 Volunteers going on the road to Hard Knocks Field to face the 2-1 number 7 University of Thugonomics. Thugonomics have a 2-1 overall all-time series record against the Volunteers when they've played each other in the history of the GCAA. For the Vols, you've got Trevor Lawrence, Aaron Jones, A.J. Brown, Cortland Sutton, Jalen Waddle, and Hayden Hurst. For the Thugs, you've got Lamar Jackson, Derrick Henry, Cordero Patterson, Tyreek Hill, and Deebo Samuel, and Travis Kelce. Currently, the Thugs are favored by 28 points. Next matchup, you have the 2-1 number 10 Queensland Tech Hokies going on the road to Duck Commander Stadium to face the 1-2 Quack Attack. Now, last week, Quack Attack squeezed out, and my fingers may not be even close enough. There maybe the eked that one, paper thin. We're talking about a victory over the Volunteers last week. I think they beat them by 0.9 points. Just anything different there could have changed the way that game goes, or if we waited to Thursday for the Elias stuff, maybe it changes it as it goes, but we don't do that here. We don't have time for that kind of stuff. With what you get after Monday night's game is what you get. So Quack Attack squeaking out that victory last week. Maybe they can continue on their little streak here. Overall, Queensland has a 2-0 all-time record against Quack Attack. So for those Hokies, you've got Trevor Lawrence leading those undefeated Jaguars. Nick Chubb, Austin Eckler, Jamar Chase, Stephon Diggs, and Irv Smith Jr. For the Quack Attack, you got Kirk Cousins, Derrick Henry, T. Higgins, Michael Thomas, Zach Ertz, and Pat Freiermuth, going with a little the jumbo tight end set there. Currently, the Hokies are favored by 14 points. Next matchup, let's see who we have left in the rankings. Keep scrolling. Here we are. We have number 8, 2-1 Ocean State College Destroyers going on the road to Scum Pond Stadium to face the 2-1 Sucks to Be You University. This is the very first matchup between these two schools. For Ocean State, you have Josh Allen, Nick Chubb, Jonathan Taylor, Gabriel Davis, CeeDee Lamb, and Darren Waller. For Sucks to Be You, you got Aaron Rodgers, Miles Sanders, A.J. Brown, T. Higgins, Cooper Kupp, and Darren Waller. At this time, the Destroyers are favored heavily by 32 points. That is some favoritism right there. 32 points right now is the favorite in there for Ocean State College. All right, the next matchup in the rankings, and I'm going to cheat real quick and see if there's any others after this. No, this will be the last matchup that we talk about with the rankings. We have number 3 undefeated, 3-0 University of Kentucky Bourbon Ballers going on the road facing the winless 0-3 Philly U. This is the first time for these schools facing each other. For Kentucky, you've got Patrick Mahomes, Derrick Henry, Joe Mixon, Cooper Kupp, Amon-Ra St. Brown, and Kyle Pitts. For Philly, he's got Brady, Austin Eckler, Breece Hall, Drake London, Michael Pittman, and Pat Freiermuth. He is short on a couple of defensive players, so hopefully he picks up a defensive player in walk-ons this week to try and help himself out. The Ballers are currently favored by 25 points currently over Philly U. So that is all the matchups that we have against our ranked schools. So That is the end of that. Let me see if there's anything else that I see that of any interest. Not really at the moment there. So that is everything we've got on today's show. I'm trying to keep these really nice and super and sweet, nothing too crazy. I'll save all those ones for later on in the season when there's a lot more to talk about, when we get more and more conference play and stuff like that. So last week was those first games of conference play, and you can see a few of the schools, if you looked at your conference, that have like a 1-2 record. They're at the top because they won that one game was against a conference team or school, that is. So kind of pay attention to that as well. You're not out of it. Like I said, even one loss in your conference play, you're fine. Plenty of conference games still left to decide who's going to be in that conference championship game. So that's it for us here. Here at the Commish's office. So let me fire up our song again. Please don't forget, like I said, you have walk-ons going on. If you need a player to help with depth, bye weeks are going to be starting up here in a couple of weeks. So get ready for that. Like I said, it's all on you to have that starting lineup ready for yourself. So keep going on that one. Let's see. The next thing after this is in 2 weeks, where you will assign blue shirts to players that are on your injured reserve. Don't ask for any of that now, just so you know. We'll do all that stuff here in 2 weeks, but you can read up on it. So that's about it. Like I said, walk-ons are going right now. I'll release a batch here in a little bit. I'll release tomorrow again. Tomorrow night I'll keep going. I'll remind everybody about it. You have until Saturday to get that in. You get one player, so try and get that one player for yourself. Maybe to make a difference this week and maybe change the way the season could be going for anybody who's not having a good season so far. A lot of good players out there still who haven't been recruited that are available for walk-ons. So with that it, I'm out of here. I'm your commish. I hope everyone has a good week 4, and we will see you all next week. I like the way she moves, undercover. That everybody leaning, I make the crowd rock. Now go and walk it out. I see they on my job. She want that bubble gum. Is they the double mint? Too easy shooting me, so I know that I'ma win. It's on once again, Patron once again. I threw my head back, then I froze like a pin. West I walk it out, South I walk it out.